Hey everybody, welcome back to Brent's Backyard Redneckery. Today, I'm going to take my ginger that I grew and see if I can't dehydrate it and turn it into ginger powder. Never done this before, so it's going to be a learning experience for everybody. Sit back, I'll tell you what you need to do. So this is the ginger that I grew in my pots this year. It's not dried out, but it has been sitting for a couple weeks now. And our first step that we'll have to do is peel off all this outside layer. Started peeling off a little bit just so you can see what it's going to look like. So once I get all this peeled, then I'm going to try and slice it all up, put it in my dehydrator, and then we'll see if we can't get it dehydrated enough to turn this into a powder. I'm sure I'm going to put it in a food processor and then maybe have to use my mortar and pestle to get it the rest of the way down. But I don't know. Let's find out. All right, so when it comes to ginger, it's got this dry type skin on it. From what I can tell, most of it you can just peel off like that. And any of the stuff that won't just peel off, I'm going to trim it off with my trusty pocket knife. Like some of this is pretty tough, so I'll take that and trim off some of these pieces like that. Probably trim that off with my knife. But I'm going to go ahead and knock this out, get it all put in the bowl, toss the waste. We'll see how this turns out. Already, it smells really good. All right, so that's how much ginger I got. It's not a whole heck of a lot, but I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this off and then get it sliced up and ready for the dehydrator. See how it turns out. All right, so what I'm gonna attempt to do is just cut this into pretty thin little pieces like this. I don't trust myself to try and shave that with a slicer. So I'm just gonna do it by hand. Once I have all this cut up like that, we're going to pop it in the dehydrator, see if we can't get all this liquid out and turn this into some powder. All right, so we're going to do a before and after weight measurement. Always remember, whenever you place something on there, get your tare set back. So we'll go ahead and see what our measurement is before dehydration as far as our weight goes. See how much water we lose once it's all said and done. Looks like about 1.94 ounces. I'm guessing we'll lose a whole lot of water once I get this dehydrated. But we're going to go pop it in there. Probably going to set my temperature around 150, 175 maybe. Start out with 2 hours and see how that goes. All right, so I've tried to space this out kind of evenly in here. It's a little bit difficult to do with something this wet. But we're going to go ahead and pop this in. All right, we'll go with dehydrate. Temperature's 150. Time, we're going to go down to 2 hours to start. Once that goes off, we'll give it a check back and see what it looks like. All right, so we just hit 2 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got. So basically, it's looking like a bunch of chips. See how fragile they are. Pretty fragile. There's still a little bit of moisture in that. So I might give them a little bit longer and then get them in my food processor. All right, so we went 3 hours total. Let's take a look at it. So all of this is really dried out now and crumbly. So now I'm going to put this in the food processor, grind it up, and see how powdery I can get it. So before I chop this up, see what we're weighing in at now. 0.21 ounces. All right, so we're just going to hit this a few times. See what happens here. Definitely not ground up quite enough. I guess I will have to break out my mortar and pestle. All right, so I've got all my ginger down in here inside my mortar and pestle. As you can see, there's some powder already from where I put it in the food processor. But what we're going to do is crush all this up and grind it, see if we can't turn that into all powder. So if you've never used one of these, basically all you're going to do is take your big old thick rod here and start crushing this stuff up. I'm just going to crush it and crush it and crush it. And we're going to take it around, spin around. We're going to get this stuff pulverized. So it'll take a little bit of doing, a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of pressure, but we'll get it there. And once it's done, we'll look at the finished result. So I don't know if this is actually necessary, but in case I got some chunks in there, I'm going to put it through this and get out the powdery stuff. And then I'll grind it up some more. That way I know I still got big chunks I got to do, or if I'm good to go. Looks like I still got a lot of chunks. So there's more mortaring and pestling to do, but that's looking pretty nice. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. All right, so I had to keep dividing, grinding, and this is what I've got so far. As you can see, there's some powder, and there's still some granules that are still pretty stiff in there. So I'm going to dump all this back into my mortar and pestle, see if I can't powderize this some more. All right, so I've used a little bit more elbow grease, and I think I got this ginger just where I want it. Let's have a look at it. All right, see, I got this. Check it out. It's all powder. That is absolutely beautiful. I just got to get it in a container. So that does it for another episode of Brent's Backyard Redneckery. If you guys like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, leave me a comment, come back next time, and I'll tell you what you need to do. Have a good one.